Maybe you had the idea, the plan, the dream, the fire. But days passed, then weeks, could be even years. Nothing. And now, all you feel is guilt, stuck in a vision that only exists in your head. This isn't laziness. This is procrastination. The kind that overwhelms and quietly steals time. Most people don't regret what they tried and failed, they regret what they never even began. Maybe you're carrying dreams too heavy to hold. Maybe this episode will help you finally start. You tell yourself you'll do it tomorrow, but tomorrow becomes next week, next month, and then never comes. You're not doing nothing, you're doing something else. Tidying, scrolling, making perfect plans for a day that never comes. Because the real task feels threatening. Because your brain treats it like danger, like something that could bring judgment or shame. And deep down, the task holds weight. Fear of failure, fear of not being good enough, sometimes even fear of success, because success still means a change, and change can be scary. So your mind nudges you toward easier tasks, safer ones, not because they matter, but because they don't hurt. Procrastination isn't the problem. It is a signal, a message from your mind saying, I'm overwhelmed, I'm scared, I don't feel ready. And the longer you delay, the heavier it becomes, until even starting feels painful. But here is the truth. You don't need to feel ready to begin. You just need to take one small step. Because clarity comes from action, not from overthinking. Procrastination is rarely just about poor time management. At its core, it's emotional. Your brain isn't trying to sabotage you, it's trying to protect you. When a task feels uncertain, difficult, or high stakes, your nervous system sees it as a threat, not physical, but emotional. It senses risk. What if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? What if I try and it still doesn't work? That emotional discomfort triggers avoidance. So instead of writing the project, you scroll. Instead of starting the business, you clean the kitchen. Not because those things matter more, but because they're emotionally safe. It's a coping strategy. And often, procrastination hides something deeper. Fear of failure. Believing your effort might not be enough. Fear of judgment. That what you do will be criticized. Perfectionism. The idea that if it's not perfect, it's not worth doing. Low self-worth. The quiet belief that you're not capable or not even deserving of success. So your mind delays, thinking it's buying you comfort. But what it's really doing is building regret. Because every time you avoid the task, you reinforce a belief that it's too much for you. And that belief starts shaping your identity. Until you're not just someone who procrastinates, you become someone who doubts themselves. And that's the real cost. Not the time lost, but the self-belief quietly slipping away. Every time you delay what matters, you're not just moving it to tomorrow. You're handing over a small piece of your future. One day becomes a week becomes a month, and somewhere along the way, your dreams get dusty in the corner. It is not just the time you're losing, it's the momentum. It is the version of you who could have been further ahead by now. And while you're busy avoiding discomfort, life keeps moving. Opportunities expire, skills you never practiced fade, doors you never opened close quietly. Until one day, you look back and realize you weren't avoiding the task. You are avoiding your own growth. It builds a quiet kind of pain, the pain of knowing you're not living up to your own potential. And that pain, no one else can fix it. Not a friend, not a God, not even this episode. Only you, when you decide to take responsibility for your future. Let's not pretend this is easy. If you've been stuck in the loop, it's not because you're weak. It's because you've been trying to protect yourself from the discomfort of failure, from the fear of judgment, or from facing a dream that feels too big to hold. But here is where the shift begins. Not by waiting to feel ready, not by forcing yourself through harsh discipline, but by taking one honest, imperfect, gentle step. Because the cycle of procrastination isn't just about productivity, it's emotional, and so is the way out. Try this. Break the task into the smallest possible action. So small, until it's impossible to fail. Focus on consistency over intensity. You don't need to do everything today. You just need to show up again and again. Make a distinction between what you want and what you truly need. Wants are loud and urgent. Needs are quiet, but they build character. Now, know what strengthens your self-respect. Keep promises to yourself, even small ones. That's how self-belief grows. Detach from outcome, let the process be the reward. Movement matters more than the perfection. You're not chasing motivation anymore, you're building a solid, consistent foundation. And foundation builds identity, the kind that whispers, I follow through, even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. When you keep showing up, even when it's hard, something starts to shift inside you. You stop seeing your goals as pressure and start seeing them as proof that your dreams are worth your time, that your effort is a form of self-respect, that working your vision isn't just about getting things done, it's about becoming the kind of person who follows through. At first, it feels fast, but slowly becomes a habit, then a rhythm, then an identity. The kind of identity that tells your subconscious, my dreams matter, my actions have meaning, and I don't let myself down. There's a story of a writer who couldn't finish his novel. He had the talent, he had the idea, he had the potential, but every time he sat down to write, he froze. Until one day he promised himself something so small, it seemed silly. Just 5 minutes a day. That's all I need to earn my respect. 5 minutes turned into 10, then a paragraph, then a page. Not every day was perfect, but every day was something. And a year later, the book was done. Not because of pressure, but because he built an identity that made quitting feel like self-betrayal. Your transformation doesn't begin with a grand breakthrough. It begins with a quiet agreement. I will treat my goals as worth of my time, even if the world hasn't seen them yet. Because when you do, you don't just stop procrastinating, you start becoming someone who keeps promises to themselves. And that's kind of power no one can take away. No one's coming to push you. No perfect moment will arrive to say, now is your time. No sign, no guarantee. You just need a reason that matters to you. Because every time you show up, not out of pressure, but out of self-respect, something shifts inside you. You make a small statement to the world and a louder one to yourself. I'm not waiting anymore, I'm building. You don't need to hustle non-stop, you don't need to feel like it. You just need to take one honest step at a time and let those steps write your story. And maybe that story starts now. If this episode spoke to you, Share it with someone who's stuck in the same loop. Subscribe if you'd like to walk this light journey together. Overshadow. One thought, one shift, one quiet breakthrough at a time. See you in the next episode. And remember, let's grow together.